Hey Dr. Taylor, so first I just wanted to say that I had never heard or read the book Junkyard Wonders, and I loved it. I love Patricia Polacco anyway, but this book was just really spoke to me, and especially at the end when he said, or the little excerpt at the end that said that all the Junkyard Wonders did make it to the moon, and their teacher really was their compass and helped them grow, and you could really see that in the book how much she meant to Polacco. So that was a really awesome book. So for my compass, I didn't write a ton on here because I would rather talk about it than read it off the page, but I came up with a word to describe how I want to help my kids, starting with each letter, so like northeast, south, or northeast, south, and west. So for the N, I put nurturing. I want my students to feel like that, like when you nurture and help grow a plant, for instance, like you take care of it and you get to watch it grow. And I really want to see that in my students from the first of the year. I want them to know how much I care about them, and I want to see them grow, and that I can do that with the right activities and tools and lessons and whatnot. For E, I wrote expectations. So I want my students to know that I do have high expectations for them. I know that they can succeed. I don't want them to feel like that I'm just there to babysit them. Like in the book Junkyard Wonders, I feel like had Mrs. Peterson been said, yeah, this is the junkyard class, like whatever, I don't care what you do as long as you stay alive, I don't feel like her students would have been as successful, because it really takes someone to believe in you. And for S, I wrote sensitivity. So I want my students to feel like that they can come to me with any issues that they have or problems, and I would be sensitive to those problems, not kind of push them to the side like they're not important. I feel like a lot of times kids feel like that adults don't take them seriously. I felt like that. Like even up until high school, I hated being treated like a kid when the stuff I was saying wasn't, like, it was very serious. But kind of in the middle of like expectations and sensitivity, like kind of being stern, like I know you can do this, maybe having to be a little bit rough sometimes so they know what I mean, and sensitivity, like kind of in the middle, is like tough love, kind of. And then for W, I put what do you think? So for that one specifically towards science teaching, when it comes to the 5E lesson plan, like being sure to ask what they think after the experiment, allowing them to talk before I just give them the answer, and also allowing them, this is kind of multifaceted, allowing them to have their input in class. And if anything I learned from this semester, it's like students' input really matters. When they feel like they have had a say, they can really, they really just take off in the classroom. So I don't remember what creature I said I was at the beginning of the semester, but now I feel like the orange and green creatures at the bottom of the trunk, like the orange lifting up the green creature, because I feel like in a school teaching science on my own, it would be great to find a partner teacher that can help lift you up. I feel like that you're going to get so much more accomplished. Your kids are going to benefit from it, and I just feel like two people together, although I don't love group work in a class setting, I love teamwork in a work setting. So I feel like that's me right now. So I was actually able to teach a science lesson in my field experience class before everything got closed down. So I was lucky enough to do that, and I really learned that it's important not to sell the kids short. I was really not expecting some of the answers I got from them when when we came back and discussed the experiment. They were just like firing off answers that were great thoughts and great prompts for discussion that I was just not planning for. We let the discussion take place, which kind of cut into our time because it was at the end of the day. They were about to dismiss. Cut into the time for me to explain, but it was such a great discussion, I didn't want to cut it short. So I would really, in my future planning, plan for a little bit more discussion. And so a teaching strategy that I found most intriguing during our Part D presentations of the article, Cameron and Abir's presentation on like simulations and online resources, I really found that interesting because our society is so heavily dependent on technology now. Most schools have something like that we can use, and it was just really interesting. What I found most interesting, they said, like in a moon journal, if you can't see the moon, you can go online and see what it would have been like that night or the night previous, or even a week ago or a month ago. So that's really interesting. You can create a moon journal in a shorter amount of time if you don't have a whole month to do it. So I would really like to look into online simulations, and even the one we did with the planets, completely online. You were able to see the how big versus Earth, or you could compare the planets online. So I'm not sure if you had planned another module for like specifically science assessment, because our class got cut short, but I think it would be really interesting to see your thoughts on how to assess students' knowledge in the science subject specifically. Like we've had lessons on assessment in other courses, and we could use that for science, but I think it would be interesting to see what the science community says about assessment specifically for science topics. And then finally, just some comments heading into my internship. I feel like this semester I feel a lot more prepared, even though our field experience got cut short. Our classes, this class, literacy, diversity, like I feel like with the lesson planning, like yes, it was a little bit scary at first, like we're gonna plan 6 lessons even though we didn't because of Corona, but I feel like it really helped prepare for internship, and I feel a little bit more prepared, I think, than some of my classmates from what our discussions have been, as far as like nerves, not like classwork or anything like that, but nerves. I'm not as nervous, and I think that may have something to do with my opportunity to substitute teach over the past 6 months or so. That really helped me. My first couple days of substituting, I was very nervous, so I could totally understand being nervous in internship. I'm still a little bit nervous, but I think that really helped, and I'm anxious to see if my partnership teacher has a science block, or if it's like a 10-minute thing at the end of the day like it was in my field experience. So overall, I had a really great semester. I learned a lot in this class, as well as other classes over the semester, but I look forward to next semester and my future teaching career. So thanks for an awesome semester.